Alright guys, today we're going to look at my Marauder integration, which I believe came right after my Rayven, if I'm remembering correctly. But it is just what it appears to be. It's a Rapidstrike with the back end of a Rayven. And I believe this was the first completely Devcon integration that I did. And actually probably the first that I was totally happy with when it was done. The integration for its time was actually pretty good. There's a few flaws that I probably could have done better, but given the fact that I was just building for myself and it was mostly just I wanted it to look good enough, but it didn't need to be like super fancy. But it is a remarkably comfortable combination. It adds, I think, just a little bit of length to the Rapidstrike, but it just feels good. I mean, the Rapidstrike is a very comfortable blaster to begin with, and so is the Rayven. So you put them together, and you do get something very nice. The scope, while it obviously doesn't really function, it does cover a bit of overspray that I got on there, and there is. There again, the paint job isn't fantastic. It was vinyl dye all the way around, and there's some kind of iffy spots in the masking, but like I said, it was more of just I want this thing to look good, not like fantastic. Once upon a time I had a big shock through bolted to the rail here, but it was fun, but it was a bit clunky, and I wanted something a little more streamlined, so I took it off. So there's a bit of a notch here and a couple holes here. Probably the coolest thing is this is a barricade muzzle piece, but it's friction fit, so that you can give it a bit of a twist, take the battery door off, access your wiring, drop that back on, give that guy a twist, and you don't have to get your screwdriver out or anything like that. So it's kind of convenient for changing batteries on the fly. And it does, kind of finish off the end a little bit better than just having the regular muzzle thing on there. Little mag release lever is from a Thingiverse file that I can't remember if I had to modify this one or if it was another one I did at the same time. But it's kind of a bit long, but it looks nice and does the job and all that. The blaster is currently running MTB Rhino motors up front and a Honeybadger pusher, which at the time of this build was kind of the pinnacle of technology. I mean, that was right when Honeybadgers first came out. Rhinos had only been on the market a little bit. It's actually wired using the MTB wiring method. 2 switches, doesn't have a parking switch for the pusher, but with the rate of fire that Honeybadger has, it's negligible, kind of. I mean, it would be cool if it parked so that you had good, crisp, accurate shots, but I don't know. I might end up doing that later, but there again, at the time of the build, that was like current technology. Not a whole lot else, really, to say about it. It's a very honest build. It's just like it's a Rapidstrike and it's a Rayven, and it's got kind of your basic mods. Currently running worker flywheels, and there again, that was the only alternative for flywheels at the time. Still running a stock cage. I really haven't touched this thing since I built it, really, because it did, okay, and everything. It did what I needed it to do. So I may go through and overhaul this thing again later, or I might just I don't really want to sell it because this was like the first one that I really liked, but it might go up on the block at a later date. But this is the Marauder, is what I ended up calling it. This was before I realized that the Enforce line already had the Marauder kind of longsword thing, but I think the name still fit at the time. And yes, those of you who are going to point it out, this is strongly based on Rob of Southern Brisbane Nerf Club's Trudgeon build. In fact, I studied, when he first built that, I looked at pictures and I was like, that thing is just really cool. And so I analyzed all the pictures I could of it, and made sure the cuts were just perfect and everything. I made it. It was the first blaster that I looked at, and I said, I want to build one just like that. The rest of the time I'll pick inspiration from certain things. Somebody will build something and I'll say, oh, that's kind of a cool way of doing this, or I might kind of pull some ideas from one thing. This was the first blaster that I looked at and I said, I need to make one that looks just like that. Obviously, paint jobs are different. And he subsequently overhauled his and did a bunch of other crazy things to it, but this was basically a copy of his first version. But that's pretty much all there is to say about this one. If you have any further questions for me about it, you can go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, wishing blue skies and green lights to you and yours, and may all your troubles be teeny weeny ones.